organization. They receive donations from everywhere. The government also helps them, and they have about 325 chapters all over the world. So because it's a US-based group, 295 chapters are right here in the US, and they have a few everywhere else. And I managed to register a Nigerian chapter about 3 years ago. I have the certificate in my suitcase in the room. But we cannot function in Nigeria until we register that chapter in Nigeria. And that has been my problem up till now. The US, the Austin mission is to provide the highest level of leadership, compassion, and promotion of an enhanced understanding of prostate cancer while improving the quality of life for the survivors, their families, and all men at risk through proactive programs and positions. So you know, sometimes, particularly in America, everybody thinks that doctors always want to make profit out of your illness. So when somebody has cancer, all the doctors want to do what they don't need to do so they can get your money. But these are survivors. These are men who have gone through the process, who are able to explain to other men the best way to go. If you go on the web, this is their web page, ostu.org. It's a very rich web page. Anything you want to know about prostate cancer is on this page. You don't even have to go to school. You don't have to be a medical person. You will understand. You can find everything up to date on their web page. So one of the little chapters that was there in Chicago, we worked with them, and they had a little grant from the government to look at minority people and prostate cancer. So I worked with them. They had a plan. I won't go into all their purpose. This is what their coordinators are supposed to do. But this is the summary of their key activities in year 1, 2, 3, and 4. But let's just look at the last column. They were able to get their action into 42 states in America. They were able to train 647 facilitators, that is people who can go and talk about prostate cancer. They were able to talk and reach 624 organizations. Maybe you could have invited one of them here today and they would have talked to this group. And they had 217 encounters. What they mean by encounter is an Austrian person can stand in front of a store, and when anybody is walking by, any man, they go up to them with their brochure and say a little bit about prostate cancer and give them the brochure. That's one encounter. So look at all what they were able to do in 5 years. Can you imagine if we can start this in Nigeria? It will just be, maybe I will talk to only 10 men a day, but before we know where we are, everybody will begin to hear about it. So at the college where I work, my role there is to do prostate cancer research, prostate cancer outreach and education, try and convince men to get screened and write grants. We were able to get our OS2 Mekari chapter. We're supposed to hold our meetings 7 p.m. one Thursday per month. Most times I wait for this meeting and only one man will show up. I don't know, the men are so busy doing everything else. So sometimes this group doesn't meet frequently, but what we do is we go to churches, we go, anybody can invite me to their group and I just go and I give my talk. That's the way I've been doing it. But when you go to the US2 White People's chapter in Nashville, they are always there. I used to attend their meetings until I just decided, let me struggle with my own. So US2 Nigeria, this is our chapter. We have a chapter already. We have a little office with a table, a computer, and 2 people used to be the staff of that office. They were my own research assistant from my own research grant. The grant has finished. The job has ended. The patrons and the people that we said were the directors were myself and some of the professors in Uduaghan who were members of the research team. So far I have sort of funded this activity through some of the money from my research grant, but that grant is finished. It was for 3 years, it's done. So this is where D3 and the state government can converge. I was hoping that we can take ownership together, D3 and the state government. We want a patron for the group. If we have a patron, you know, as I hear, patrons just put their hand in their pocket and money just lands. So we want a big patron. Then we want some of the big people to also be trustees and sponsors. Because if we get a certain amount of money from a lot of people, we can sort of have a fixed account. Actually, I did a fixed account in Warri, 400,000 naira, and in October, when I went in July, I had 30,000. So it's not as difficult as we are saying. If we have a reasonable amount of money that is in a fixed account, we can have money to run what we are doing. We can furnish and staff our hospital office. Just 2 people. All we need is 2 people, because if they are not educating everybody in one day, they'll just be educating some people little by little all the time. And then from time to time, the government or D3 can support us with grants to run little activities. Like sometimes we can just do awareness in any of the big cities, or any of even the small towns, not even only in Delta State, because sometimes if your NGO is too local, people might not support it so much. So it has to be all over the country. It's us to Nigeria, and our activity should be felt all over the country. So then we can do that. And then another thing that I think D3 and the government should do, which is actually not completely related to prostate cancer, is empower the health department to collect accurate health statistics. Because so far, honestly, we don't know anything about the number of anything. Everybody just says whatever they like about the number. Just we don't know how many people we are. So if we can really come together, like our football team, I don't think any of them lives in Nigeria, but they won. And we were all shouting Nigeria, Nigeria. None of them drink Nigeria water, none of them eat Nigeria food. But they were from all over the diaspora, they were able to come together and do something. So I'm thinking that those of us who are here, we can come together, and just like our football team, we can also succeed in doing something right. Thank you for listening.